Hey, this is me, Marveline. I just finished watching. What's the name of this movie? Finished watching Shut Up and Kiss Me. Now, the mistake I kind of made was. Well, I mean, I kind of had to know the reviews, but the reviews kind of told me what the movie's going to kind of end up like. And basically, this guy, attractive, he tried dating online. He tried to do a video service, dating. Had his friends help with that. That didn't quite pan out right. And then he tried online dating, and that didn't really pan out right for him. And so eventually, he sees this guy running past his house when he's watering his plants, and he's like, he's really cute, whatever. And then, eventually, a couple weeks pass, and finally he just like sprayed this. That's what I would have done. As I was like, just spray him with the water so that I can start a conversation. Because the guy had been checking him out, for weeks or whatever. And so, excuse me, what? Excuse me. So, what was good? So anyway, they finally meet up, they start talking, and they go on a little meetup. They don't really want to call it a full-on date, just kind of just have to go hang out, whatever. And come to find out that this guy, supposedly with commitment phobia or whatever, he had a partner a couple years ago. He actually hadn't dated anyone, I think, for 4 years or whatever. But apparently he had a partner, and his partner found out that he was HIV positive, and then then his partner caught pneumonia, and then a few weeks later he actually died. And so ever since then, this guy, I forget what he's called and stuff. Okay, I know that guy's name is Gray. Ben, okay, so Ben, he's been very commitment phobia, I think ever since that incident happened, And then he meets this other guy named Gray, and Gray, we don't find out how yet. But towards the end of that same conversation, come to find out that Gray actually is HIV positive and just dealing with that and whatnot. And that's such a very real thing, because there's so many of it, including myself, that fall into that category. And so, it was. So then they start dating or whatever, and then Grace pretty much kind of tells him from the beginning, kind of well, it's I'm not sure I really believe monogamy or whatever. And he's like, I'm a guy, so if I have a feeling or need, I just take care of it or whatever. And Ben was kind of like, I don't understand really why. You kind of see that's kind of the beginning of the problems. And so anyway, so 3 months pass. No, they have a second date, and then on the second date, Ben's like the really really romantic, sweet kind of guy, He's the cuddle. He's the cuddle kind of gay guy, And Gray is definitely more like the sex kind of guy, And so he has a little dinner, has a little carpet picnic. Whatever. It was so corny, but it was cute, but it was corny. And so anyway, so they talk or whatever, and they learn a bit more about each other, and then they kiss or whatever, and eventually they kind of cuddle or whatever, and it kind of brings like memories of myself, just different situations I've been in with guys, and then eventually they go upstairs and and they get a little hot and heavy, but they decide not to go all the way. So they wake up the next morning and they're both liking what they're doing, and then kind of starting off right at the bat. Later on that day, Ben goes to work out, and Greg calls. I think he called him the second or third time. His friends, he's talking to straight friends. Friends like, look, this guy's called you 2 times today already, and you haven't answered. And he's like, well, I just wanted to seem too available, whatever. And then here you go, playing games, and just the little stuff that we do in relationships that we don't want to call out on ourselves, but our friends will call out on us. Stuff that we do to either sabotage ourselves, or to basically, I feel like that's what we're doing, just trying to sabotage ourselves. And so, anyway, kind of find out, they hang or whatever, and kind of find out later on, they go have dinner or whatever, and 3 months down the line, Ben finally introduces Gray to his friends, and he's the first one to ever introduce all his friends, and then, kind of find a couple days later or a day later, whatever, they have a little date, and kind of find Gray tells me he had slept with another guy, and Ben's like, what? Why? And he just basically, what is it that that you need? You feel you need to go out and do that? I mean, there's something motivating you to do that. And Gray's like, you really just don't understand. It's part of who I am as a person, and you need to accept that if you're going to be in a relationship together. And I'll be honest, Gray is cute. At first when he was that cute, but as you get to know him and you kind of like get used to it, like, it's cute, it makes him cuter. And I can see why it would be difficult to let somebody like that go. But if you're not on the same level, if y'all don't have the same values, you're gonna run into issues somewhere down the line, and that's gonna be one of them. If you got one person that believes in monogamy, and that's how they view a relationship, and you got another person that's like, okay, yeah, we're together, but every now and then I go and sleep with other people, that's gonna be a conflict. Asking for conflict if we're trying to stick together. And so Ben's kind of like, he doesn't like it, but he kind of like okays it in the sense that they're gonna have sex afterwards or whatever. Maybe that's Ben's attempt at, I'm gonna keep you sex, type deal. And then Gray says he loves him or whatever. And then, a couple months more pass and they're doing good. And Gray tells him all this really, really, really good stuff. And I kind of felt like he was telling all this good stuff because he's about to tell him something bad. And then that's exactly what happened. He told me, it happened again. And Ben was like, I don't need, he's really upset. He's like, why do you keep doing this? And, and Gray's like, no, it doesn't really have anything to do with you. Him being in a monogamous relationship just really difficult. He's like, and I told you from the beginning, this is how I am or whatever. And I'll be honest, he did tell him that, but I kind of feel like it's just a fallback all the time. Like, you know what? I'm going to see another guy, and it's okay because I told you from the beginning that's how I'm like, that's what it feels like, And Ben's just not that kind of guy. And Ben does deserve better, And so basically, he breaks up with Gray. Ben breaks up with Gray. He's like, I had enough of this. I'm going to put myself through this again. Have my heart broken again. Because he knows exactly what happened. And then, later on, he's about to go on a new date. His friend's about to send or whatever. And then he sees Gray again. And he tells Gray, hey, I tried to call you for a month or whatever. You never answered. I think it's in your text. You never answered. And just all this stuff, and Ben was like, Gray was like, I'm sorry about that, and whatever, and then it seemed like, they're finally done, they're through, whatever, and then kind of towards the end of the conversation, he's like, well, and then Gray's like, are you sure you don't want, there's really nothing else you want to try to maintain here, or whatever, because I really, really miss you, and blah, 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 and stuff, and then Ben's kind of like, well, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to say no, and they kind of find out at the end of the movie, they decide to be together, even though Ben doesn't really quite get it, but he kind of okays it. And it's really weird because I kind of feel both ways about it. I kind of feel like on one level, I'm like, well, if it's, there's tons of people out there that actually in these kind of relationships, where you got one person that's like stays, I want to say true, it sounds so like, what's that word? Fairy tale like. But it's one, that stays, with that partner doesn't see anyone else. But then you always got then you have that one partner that's like kind of like free for all. If they want to have, they have a partner, but if they feel like playing around, they do it. Just for sex. And for him in the movie, Gray said he doesn't really do it because he's in love. And actually, when the straight friends bring that up too, how they separate sex and love. And one thing about it, which I think is very true, at least this happened to me anyway, for some gay men, or just for some people in general, we can't separate sex from love. So we think when we have sex with someone, we have to fall in love with them too. And that's happened to me too. I feel like that's kind of speaking of truth. And there's people that that actually can separate the two. They like, this is just sex, it's an activity we do together, whatever, cool. And then we have, an actual love, something like, really love and have emotions and, connections with. And that's just two different things. And to me, in my world, I always kind of picture those two together because they kind of like, just from conditioning, I think, you kind of just put those two together. And so, yeah. So, but at the same time, it kind of like, so basically you're kind of telling me that Ben should lower his standards for what he expects from a relationship just so he can be in a relationship. That's what it kind of feels like, too, at the same time. It's like, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, I mean, if they want to be and they're happy like that, then that's cool, Maybe they're happy, But at the same time, Ben kind of deserves a little bit more than that. But maybe that kind of fits his pattern because like Ben has commitment for all your problems anyway. So maybe he kind of likes knowing that he's in a relationship with a guy that is that can't even really fully commit to him because he can't fully commit to himself, just sticking to his own standards. And so, I mean, there's something to be said for that. But yeah, it was interesting. And actually, I like there were actually a lot of moments in there where, because when I was reading reviews, they were kind of talking about there was actually several moments in there where I thought there was actually genuine emotion. It was better acting than there is in a lot of gay films I've seen. And, and like some of the scenes actually did play out not too bad. And if they had better production, it could have been it could have looked better and it could have came off a little bit better. But the enough raw material was there, I think, to actually work something. If they would have had more money and more time, they probably could have really done it up, So it was I'm glad I watched it. I probably shouldn't watch it like it's about to be, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not in bed yet and I have a long day of work ahead of me, and so but yeah, so it kind of interests me. Actually, I would watch the movie with someone, like with a guy though that I'm interested in. I would watch it with him just to deal with his opinion and thoughts were on it because I liked the movie overall. I think the ending. I think since I was prepared for the ending because I read the review, they kind of told me how it was going to end. It kind of like didn't leave me as impacted as it probably would have left me if I hadn't read those reviews. Where they actually kind of revealed the ending. So that would affect the way I perceived. I kind of saw that coming. I knew it was going to come eventually. So I was kind of like, okay. So it wasn't that hard of a blow to me. But if I had not known, I would have probably been more like, okay, a little more deflated. And so, I mean, Greg is cute. He's cute and he's smart and he has a good job, whatever. It's like, and you kind of wonder yourself, on paper, you're like, okay, well, I would have done this in this situation. But then when it comes to actual emotions and what you feel, and sometimes emotions override logic. Actually, correction. A lot of times emotions will override logic, when it comes to love, especially. And you'll just do stuff that may not be logically right for you, but emotionally, yeah. But I think the best benefit you can get from life a lot of times when you do things that are both emotionally and logically good for you. So that way on both levels you're okay. And so synchronizing those two probably leads a lot more happiness versus trying to just ride only on emotions or riding only on logic. Because you need them both. I think there's a reason why we have both of them. And so just thinking like that, using emotion and logic to better to better happiness. So that's what I kind of want to say. This is me, Marvin Lee. I'm still done with this. Bye. I'm done.